Hai, Assalamualaikum everyone. So, kita dah masuk chapter 2 on financial reporting and analysis. So, I hope you will try your best to understand the chapter based on the lecture video. So, that's all. Let's move on. These are the topic objective untuk chapter 2. First of all, we're going to look at the nature and purpose of financial accounting. Okay, inside here we have 3 subtopics. We have the desirable qualities, important principles of accounting, and also relevance and limitation of accounting. And then we're going to move on to accruals, okay, the cornerstone of accounting, where we're going to look into detail about accrual accounting framework and the analysis of implication of accrual accounting. So I hope you still remember the accrual concept that we have learned in part 1. Next, we're going to look at the financial statement basis of analysis for all these 4 activities. For the first subtopic, which is the nature and purposes of a financial accounting, these are the desirable qualities of accounting information that you must have when you are preparing your financial statements. So you must have first adalah relevance, second adalah reliability. So relevance is the capacity of information to affect decision and is one of the primary qualities of accounting information. So to be relevant, all information must be timely. That is why some PLCs, the public listed companies, reported a quarterly financial statements because of the relevance factor. Next adalah reliability. This is the second important. Maksudnya selepas relevant, that is going to be reliability. Second important quality of financial information. For an information to be reliable, it must be verifiable, representationally faithful, and also neutral. So dia ada tiga elements for an information to be reliable. Must be verifiability. Okay, verifiability tu maksudnya information tu boleh diconfirmkan, boleh confirmable. And the representationally faithfulness means that the information reflects the reality, and neutrality means it is truthful and not biased. I'm going to show you this illustration, a simple one that I did about a boss and also the employee. So the employee name is Farid. Farid, I want you to complete the account receivable report by today. So Farid say, okay boss. 3 days later, you can see here that the boss is angry and Farid is shivering. So the question here, why do you think the boss is angry? Kenapa bos dia marah? Okay, so think about it and give me the answers in our next discussion. Why the boss is angry with Farid? Okay, this one is the important principle of accounting. The important principle of accounting termasuklah accrual accounting. Because the modern accounting use accrual accounting rather than the primitive cash flow basis. Okay, kita semua gunakan accrual accounting. Okay, kenapa kita guna accrual accounting? Because dia lebih tepat daripada menggunakan cash flow. So, what is it under accrual accounting? Okay, under accrual accounting, revenue is recorded upon earned and expenses is recorded upon incurred regardless of actual cash received or paid. What does it mean? It means that revenue ni kita akan record bila kita layak menerima revenue tu. Bukan apabila kita betul-betul terima duit daripada revenue tersebut. Dan expenses kita akan record apabila kita incur the expenses. Tak kisahlah kita dah bayar ataupun belum. Okay. Contoh revenue adalah let's say you pergi supermarket, you ambil barang letak dalam troli dan you pergi ke kaunter. Lepas tu orang kaunter tu scan you punya barang. Bila dia scan you punya barang, Okay, masa dia scan tu, dia tak dapat duit lagi. Tapi revenue dia dah boleh recognize. Sebab bila dia scan, maksudnya you dah bersetuju nak beli dan dia boleh record revenue. Pembayaran belum dibuat lagi. Sebab pembayaran bila dah habis semua scan, baru you keluarkan duit dalam poket and then you bayar. So, the revenue is recorded upon earn. Satu lagi contoh yang I boleh share dengan you adalah the barber, tukang gunting rambut. So, bila dia dah selesai gunting rambut, walaupun you tak bayar dia lagi, dia dah boleh record the revenue. Okay. Untuk expenses, they recorded upon incurred, which means that apabila you incur the expenses, you kena record. What does it mean really? Okay, it means that masa, I bagi contoh dekat you, kalau electricity bill dibayar setiap hujung bulan. So, maksudnya you guna daripada 1 bulan 1 sampai 31 bulan 1, masa hujung bulan baru you bayar. Tapi you dah incur kan expenses tu? Yes, you incur sepanjang bulan 1. So, regardless of whether you dah bayar ataupun belum, electricity bill tu, benda tu tetap dikira sebagai your expenses sebab dia dah incurred. So, sama juga dengan kos rumah sewa. Kos rumah sewa, you duduk untuk 1 bulan tapi you bayar hujung bulan. Sebulan tu, you dah incurred the expenses. So, regardless of you paid or not, the expenses is still incurred. So, you must record that. So, that is a concept of accrual accounting. Seterusnya, kita nak masuk kepada historical cost and fair value. Yang ni kita dah belajar juga masa part 1. Historical cost adalah konsep yang kita dah lama guna untuk measure dan record value of asset and liability. So, historical cost also known as transaction-based accounting sebab kita record upon the transaction done. So, apa kebaikan historical cost adalah apabila value of asset determined as arm's length, more fair and objective. Sebab you kira harga aset tu, nilai aset pada masa you beli. Okay, so masa you beli tu harga dia memang tetap banyak tu. Okay, so that is the advantage of historical cost concept. And then the disadvantage is the value of asset mungkin berubah dan dia mungkin akan impair the usefulness of financial statement. Okay, contoh macam harga tanah. Harga tanah ni dia tak depreciate, dia appreciate in value. So, kalau you beli harga tanah tu 10 tahun lepas, harga dia mungkin like 100,000. Okay, so bila you record at historical cost, you akan record dengan harga 100,000. Tapi, harga nilai tanah tu dah naik over the years. Okay, because it's 10 years ago. So, now it's 10 years onwards. So, the value of asset mungkin dah berubah. Dan nilai yang you record, kalau based on historical cost, dia tak berubah. Masih lagi 100,000. So, dia adalah kurang tepat lah. Okay. And then, untuk fair value, dia adalah konsep alternatif to historical cost. Ini opposite to historical cost di mana it will value the asset and liability at fair value dengan harga current economic value. Okay. So, siapa yang akan buat this estimation? So, this one adalah usually valuer lah. Moving on to materiality. Okay, the next important principle of accounting. So, FASB define the materiality as a magnitude of omission or misstatement of accounting that makes it possible that judgment of a reasonable person relying on such information would be changed or influenced by the omission or misstatement. Materiality ni adalah tahap kebesaran satu omission ataupun misstatement tu yang menyebabkan seorang yang rely kepada information tu untuk buat keputusan, dia akan berubah keputusan dia. So, masalah dia untuk materiality konsep ni, dia tak ada satu kriteria yang akan distinguish material dengan non-material item. Because semuanya bergantung kepada judgment seseorang. Okay, some things may be material for me but not material for you. Okay, so some contoh macam untuk seorang millionaire 10,000 tak material. Untuk orang marahin macam I, 10,000 sangat material. So, dia sangat bergantung kepada seseorang punya judgement. Faham tak? The next important principle of accounting adalah conservatism. So, conservatism ni involve reporting the least optimistic view when faced with uncertainty in measurement. So, bila kita tak tahu nak measure satu item tu berapa, kita akan apply the concept of conservatism ataupun prudence concept. So, contoh dia, apabila you ada gain, you tak recognize immediately until they are realized. Maksudnya bila you dah layak menerimanya. Okay. Dan kalau loss, you akan recognize immediately. Tak kisahlah dah incur ataupun belum. Okay. Bila you jangkakan adanya loss, you akan terus recognize. So, you are prudent ataupun conservative. So, this concept actually reduce the reliability and relevance of net asset and also net income. So, the impact is that apabila analyst dia buat equity analysis, dia kena estimate berapa conservative bias dalam financial report untuk dia buat adjustment supaya net asset and net income tu di-present dengan lebih tepat ataupun di-measure dengan lebih accurate. Okay. Moving on to the relevance and limitation of accounting. Okay, the relevance of financial accounting information. Kenapa bagusnya financial accounting information ni? Sebab dia adalah satu-satunya relevant and reliable system untuk buat recording, classifying and summarizing the business activities. Okay, because financial accounting kita akan buat based on records yang memang berlaku. Memang berlaku, cuma dia adalah past records. So, itu jelah mungkin yang kelemahan kita. Tetapi dia adalah rekod yang tepat. So, bila dia tepat, dia relevant dan juga reliable. Okay. Now, we're going to look at the limitation of financial statement information. Okay. The limitation adalah in terms of timeliness. Like I said before, the financial statement are prepared as often as quarter and typically released from 3 to 6 weeks after the quarter ended. So, some company dia buat quarterly and some memang buat yearly financial statement, right? So, in contrast, the analysts update their forecast and recommendation on a nearly real-time basis. What does it mean? It means that financial statement kita tu keluar lambat. So, dia ada masalah mengenai timeliness sebab kita kena record, kita kena classify, kita kena analyze dulu baru kita keluarkan dia. Tetapi analyst ni dia perlukan information secara real time. Because user make decision on a real time basis. So masalah untuk financial statement information adalah mengenai lambat ataupun timeliness problem. Next adalah frequency. It is closely linked to timeliness. Financial statement are prepared periodically. Macam setahun, ataupun setiap 6 bulan, ataupun setiap 3 bulan. Okay, however, the alternative information sources such as analyst report are released to the market whenever demanded. So, sebab kita punya account, biasanya kita prepare untuk yearly basis. Tetapi, kalau analyst report ni, dia akan ada setiap masa bila the needs arise. Okay, whenever anyone demand information, analyst report ni boleh sentiasa je dilakukan. Next adalah forward-looking. Alternative information sources such as analyst forecast use more forward-looking information. Financial accounting contain limited forecast as it mainly records based on historical information. So, as you all know, financial accounting ni dia more on past records, right? So, kita record apa yang dah berlaku. So, information kita tidak forward-looking as compared to the analyst reports. This is accrual, the cornerstone of accounting. So the accrual concept provides better indication of enterprise present and continuing ability to generate cash flow. Okay, so this is the illustration of cash versus accrual concept. So here is the cash. So this example was taken from your textbooks. You can go and look for it. So this is an example. If you sell a t-shirt, based on cash flow basis, and also preparation of balance sheet based on cash basis. So this is the receipts, these are the payments made for the t-shirt. So t-shirt sales yang you dah jual adalah 250, and then the payments made for the cost of goods sold, which is the t-shirt purchases, the screen purchase, and also the printing charges, total up to 675. So if you look from the cash flow perspective, you will find out that there is a net cash outflow of 425 negative. Okay, so you can see here that the outflow of cash exceed the inflow by $425. And then if you prepare the balance sheet based on the cash basis, you will find out that the cash obtained is 275. Okay, the payment made for the t-shirt sales, and then your beginning equity is 700, and then the cash outflow is 425. This one comes from here, and then the total equity adalah 275. You can see here that the total equity reduced from the 700 to 275. So this is an illustration kalau you guna the cash method untuk record you punya cash, you punya transactions. Okay, so we will see in the next slide macam mana kalau diguna the accrual concept. Right, this one if they use the accrual concept, this one yang biasa kita gunakan. Okay, so the revenue from t-shirt sales is actually 500. Okay, some of it adalah cash sales, some of it adalah the credit sales. So the total sales is 500. And then the t-shirt cost is 250. The depreciation, okay, is 50. The printing charges are 37.5 when you divided that into the appropriate period. And then you will find out the expenses is 337.5, and then your net income adalah 162.5 if it is based on accrual concept. And is the balance sheet, if it is prepared using the accrual accounting, you will find out that the cash is 275. The t-shirt inventory adalah 337.5 because this one lah inventory ataupun t-shirt yang tak habis, closing inventory. And then the receivable adalah 250, which means that daripada this t-shirt sales 500, the 250 adalah cash, another 250 adalah dia punya account receivable. So you'll find out that your total asset is actually 862.5. So for the equity, the beginning equity adalah 700. The net income is 162.5, which come from here, and then the total equity is 862.5. So you can see from here that using accrual concept, you will be able to show profit rather than the previous one. You show a loss because you use cash accounting. Okay, so this is why using accrual concept is better, not because it shows profit, but it indicates a better prediction of the performance ataupun earning capability of the firm. Moving on to the accruals, the cornerstone of accounting. This is the accrual accounting framework where we're going to learn more on the accrual concept. Here we discuss first about the good feature of cash flow, which is its simplicity. So cash flow is actually simple, easy to understand, and also straightforward to compute. It is also tangible and certain. It means that it cannot be manipulated by any accounting method because cash, if it is there, then it's there. But unfortunately, the cash flow has limited capacity or limited usefulness when we measure the cash generating capacity of a company. Most business are on credit. Okay, so many business invest in assets and inventories that will provide benefits over many future periods. So in this case, Cash flow fails to provide a relevant picture of a company's financial condition and performance. What does it mean? It means that untuk cash, dia tak akan able to measure the cash generating capacity because kebanyakan business dia adalah on credit basis. Bila dia beli assets and inventory bukan untuk benefit pada tahun semasa sahaja, so dia mungkin akan expect the benefit for many future periods to come. So kalau kita gunakan cash flow, dia akan fails to provide the relevant picture mengenai company tu punya financial condition and also performance. So that is why we are going to use this accrual concept. Next, we are moving on to the cash flow. So there are three types of cash flow. First one adalah the operating cash flow, where the cash is derived from operating activity. So dekat sini kita akan nampak the cash yang kita generate daripada aktiviti utama perniagaan. And next we are going to look at the free cash flow. We also have free cash flow. It represents the cash that is free to be paid to both debt and equity holders. Okay, free cash flow meaning that cash yang ada tu setelah kita bayar untuk capital investment, so dia adalah free yang boleh digunakan untuk bayar debt ataupun untuk bagi dividen. Next adalah free cash flow to equity, represent the cash flow available to equity holders. And the net cash flow, also called the bottom line cash, it represents the change in the cash account balance. This is the meaning of accruals. Okay, accruals are the sum of accounting adjustment that makes net income different from the net cash flow. So this adjustment includes those that affect income when there is no cash flow impact. For example, the credit sales adalah salah satu accruals. Therefore, the net income equals to the operating cash flow plus accruals. So these accruals can be two types, the short term, which relate to the working capital, and also the long term, which relate to depreciation and amortization. Next, we're going to look at the accrual accounting reduce timing and matching problem. The accrual accounting overcome both problems in terms of timing and matching because these two are the inherent limitation of cash accounting. Timing problem refers to the cash flow that do not occur simultaneously with the business activities. So for example, the sales was done in the first quarter, but the cash was only received in the second quarter. So kalau you guna cash flow method, you akan fail to recognize this because jualan ni secara hutang dibuat pada first quarter, tapi kutipan daripada jualan tersebut diambil ataupun diterima untuk the second quarter. So kalau kita guna accrual accounting, kita akan reduce lah the problem. Bila berlakunya jualan, kita akan debit account receivable, creditkan sales. Bila cash diterima, kita akan debit bank, credit balik account receivable. So dia boleh matching kalau you guna the accrual accounting rather than the cash flow. Therefore, when we use cash flow, there are the two advantage. For at least they are at the disadvantage for at least two reason. Kenapa? Ada dua sebab kenapa cash flow ni ada limitation. First one, the credit economy necessitate the transaction. Often do not offer immediate transfer of cash. Okay, biasanya kita business dia deal on credit. So dia tak ada involve cash immediately selepas pembelian berlaku. Mungkin dia ada term of sales, credit sales like 40 to 60 days. So when you use cash, it reduces the ability of to track activities in timely manner. Next adalah the costs often incurred before the benefits are gained, especially when it involves the purchase of PPE. Okay, bila you beli any property, plant and equipment, you bayar the whole thing first, right? And then only baru you dapat benefit daripada penggunaan PPE tersebut. So kalau you guna cash method, you akan expensekan the whole PPE, sedangkan benefit dia are distributed in the future periods. Hence, when measuring costs, when outflow occur, will fail to reflect the condition and performance of the company. Okay, faham tak? Bila you beli PPE, you akan beli untuk kegunaan jangka masa panjang. Mungkin dalam 3 tahun. Year 1, Year 2, Year 3. Kalau you guna cash flow, you akan expensekan semua dalam Year 1. Which is incorrect. So, instead, you kena splitkan cost dia kepada 3 tahun. Barulah dia akan jadi betul, sebabnya benefit untuk this PPE, dia bukan hanya dapat pada first year, dia akan dapat juga pada second year dan juga the third year. So that is why untuk depreciation, kita akan split kepada 3 accounting year. Baru dia akan jadi tepat untuk reflect the condition and performance of the company. Okay. We're going to look at the two fundamental principles of accrual accounting. First one adalah revenue recognition, and the next one we're going to look at the expenses matching. Okay, untuk revenue recognition, revenue is recognized upon earn, either realized or realizable. It is earned when the company delivers its goods and services. So it is realized when cash is acquired for the goods and services delivered. Which means that when you have a revenue, when you earn a revenue, you must recognize that immediately. Tak kisahlah sama ada dah terima cash ataupun belum untuk the barang yang you delivered tu. The second fundamental principle untuk accrual accounting adalah expense matching. So expense matching ni ada dua. Sama ada you incur untuk the produce of goods and services. So expenses ni dinamakan sebagai product cost. So this product cost kita akan recognize apabila goods dan service tu deliver kepada customer. Then you can recognize your product cost. Next adalah the other type of expenses is called period cost. Period cost ni kita akan incur dalam tempoh masa yang accounting period kita tu lah. So it's not necessarily when the cash is paid. For example, electricity bill. So electricity bill incurred for the month, dia akan dibayar mungkin pada hujung bulan. Tapi you incur expenses tu sepanjang bulan. Okay, so it is based on the period. Next, we're going to look at the short-term accruals. So you know that accruals ada dua jenis, which is short-term and also long-term. So this is a short-term accrual. It refers to the short timing difference between income and cash flow. So this accrual generate working capital item in the SOFP. So working capital adalah current asset, also current liability. It is also known as the working capital accruals. So macam mana dia wujudnya? Working capital accruals ni daripada inventory dan juga credit transaction yang give rise to receivables and also payables. So dia berkaitan dengan operation of the business lah, jual beli barang secara kredit dan juga inventories. The other category of accrual adalah the long-term accrual. So this long-term accrual arise from capitalization, such as asset capitalization that involve deferring costs incurred in the current period which benefit are expected in the future period. Yang ni macam bila you acquire asset, the cost of asset, which is the depreciation, is distributed over their benefits period as known as the useful life. Okay, so bila you ada asset yang boleh digunakan untuk tempoh 3 tahun, so you akan defer cost dia tu kepada 3 tahun. Defer maksudnya you akan charge untuk 3 tahun ni, berapa-berapa lah. Okay, rather than masa hari beli tu terus charge 100%. The next subtopic adalah the myth and truth about the accruals and cash flow. Myth adalah myth lah, andaian tidak benar, okay, mengenai accruals dan cash flow. So kita akan tengok myth dulu. Myth yang pertama, because the value of a company, it depends on future cash flow, only cash flow are relevant for valuation. So this is not true. Okay, because current income is a better predictor of future cash flow rather than the current cash flow. Like we said before, jualan tak semestinya semuanya berlaku dengan cash. Ada jualan secara kredit dan in fact, untuk bisnes dekat Malaysia ni lebih banyak jualan kredit daripada jualan cash. Next adalah all cash flow are value relevant. So many cash flow does not affect company value. For example, the cash collected from debtors. Okay, bila cash collected from debtor, dia hanyalah collection daripada sale yang telah berlaku. Dia takkan affect company value pun. Dan some cash flow negatively related to the company value. For example, capital expenditure reduce free cash flow tetapi increase company value. So cash flow ni sometimes dia negatively related dengan company value. Bila you ada duit, okay, you pergi beli asset. So dia akan reduce you punya free cash flow. Tapi sebenarnya bila you beli asset, dia akan increase the company value. So tu adalah dua myth about the cash flow. Okay, kita ada lagi myth about the cash flow, accruals and cash flow. Not all accrual accounting adjustment are value irrelevant. Okay, maksudnya bila kita buat adjustment on accrual accounting tu dikata tak relevant. So not all accounting adjustment are cosmetic. Okay, some accounting adjustment memang kita saja buat supaya nak bagi nampak account tu lebih cantik, tetapi tak semuanya. The main goal of accrual accounting is to make adjustment for transaction that have future cash flow implication, even though no cash flow received or paid simultaneously. For example, credit sale. So, antara accounting adjustment, accrual accounting adjustment adalah credit sales. You kena buat benda ni juga because you want to show a true performance of the company. So kalau you tak masukkan credit sales, seolah-olah the company is not performing. Okay. Next adalah cash flow cannot be manipulated. That is not true, as cash flow can be increased by delaying the capital expenditure ataupun accelerate cash collection from debtor. When they say cash flow cannot be manipulated, dia mungkin benar dan mungkin juga tidak benar kerana kalau you nak manipulate cash flow, you boleh increase dia kalau you delay capital expenditure. Maksudnya, you guna asset yang you ada tu sampai habis dan sampai tahap tak boleh guna. So, you jimat duit lah. Kiranya cash yang you ada tu, you simpan. Ataupun, you collect daripada you punya account receivable dengan kadar yang lebih cepat. So, itu akan meningkatkan you punya cash flow. Okay, so tak betul lah orang cakap yang cash flow ni cannot be manipulated. Maybe true, maybe not lah. Okay. Okay, next adalah the truth. Yang benar tentang accruals dan cash flow. First one adalah accrual accounting or income is more relevant than cash flow. So it is true because kalau kita gunakan cash flow, dia punya limitation adalah in term of timing dan juga matching. Next adalah the cash flow are more reliable than accrual. So cash flow play important complementary role with accruals. However, extremes say that cash flow cannot be manipulated is not true. So it is right that cash flow memang more reliable than accruals. Tapi untuk mengatakan cash flow tu tak boleh manipulated lah tidak benar lah. Because cash flow ni sebenarnya dia complement role dengan accruals. Next, truth about accruals and cash flow adalah accrual accounting numbers are subject to accounting distortion. This is true. Okay, sebabnya dekat financial accounting method ni dia ada banyak alternative method. Macam nak kira depreciation pun dah ada pelbagai cara, right? So we can choose either one to make our account look good. So dia memang subject to accounting distortion lah. Next adalah the company value can be determined by using accrual accounting numbers. So that is true. The statement that says value of a company can only be determined only based on discounted cash flow is wrong. Okay, kalau you nak determine company value, kena guna accrual accounting. Sebabnya, ini adalah the better predictor of the company performance and also the company's financial position. Kalau guna cash sahaja, dia akan jadi salah. Okay, dia akan jadi tidak tepat lah. Okay, so since practice makes perfect, untuk the topic 2 ni, I nak you buat 5 soalan ni, 5 semester ni, the multiple choice yang related to the topic sahaja. Okay, sebab dia tak ada dalam soalan lain, dia hanya dekat multiple choice sahaja. So, you kena cari soalan yang related dan cuba attempt for our next discussion. Okay, until we meet again, thank you.